tarde, a Saber Viver Lisboa TV encontra-se na Culturgest em Lisboa. Viemos conhecer o essencial da festa do Cinema Romeno. Como tal, viemos conversar com o crítico de cinema romeno, Andrei Rus. Também é o coordenador da revista Magazine. Esperamos que a reportagem seja do vosso agrado. A entrevista vai incidir sobre os conceitos, as palavras-chave e toda a filosofia inerente ao cinema contemporâneo da Roménia. Daniela Gonçalves, com imagem de Paula Cardoso, na Culturgest, em Lisboa. Good afternoon. We are here with film critic and coordinator of Film Menu magazine, Andrei Rus. Thank you very much for being here, Andrei. We are here to ask some questions about this Romanian Cinema Fest here in Culturgest. Andrei, thank you very much. Firstly, Andrei, what are the main keywords and meanings of this Romanian cinema? What are the main keywords, meanings, concepts? What do you explain about this?
In Romanian contemporary cinema?
Yes.
Or in general? Contemporary?
Contemporary,
okay.
Yes.
So I think if you just want keywords, one is realism.
Realism, yeah.
Realism. One would be, I think, society. One, I think, would be documentarism, in a way, like a documentary aspect of the films, even if they are fictions. And probably one would be politics.
Politics.
And the fifth one would be communism. Communism versus democracy. And you asked me something else, what would be the keywords and the meanings?
The meanings, the main concepts, and
Yeah.
and mainly what are the main relationship between this kind of contemporary Roman cinema and social reality of Romania, as far you concern?
Yeah. Well, since we are talking about mainly like for a long period, like for some years, Romanian cinema, contemporary cinema was making films in a realism aesthetic. So it was impossible not to always discuss or to raise discussions about the contemporary society. So one of the issues I think they were very much concerned was the discussion to raise questions related to what the Romanian democracy means now 20 years after the revolution. Mm-hmm. Because as you know, probably Romania was for a long time communist. Yes. After the Second World War until 1989. So a lot of films either they were talking about, they were based on subjects that happened during the communist era, or if not, if they happened like in the contemporary Romania, they were interested in emphasizing the relations that still exist between contemporary Romania and communism. Then I think something that was really important for Romanian filmmakers was to polemize, to try to break a certain auto-censorship of artists, of Romanian filmmakers from the communist era and afterwards. It was just also a censorship from the state, but also I think it was sometimes their personal censorship in depicting the way people really talk, like in real life, and what they are really doing in real life. I'm saying this because like the first film that broke this barrier was a film by Cristi Puiu from 2001. The name is Stuff and Duff in English, Marfa și Banii. And in this film, it's a road movie with young people who have to go from Bucharest to Constanța to another city to help for money to bring some drugs back in Bucharest, like illegally. And they were like swearing like almost all the time, like a lot of people do in real life, especially in pretty tension situations. So a lot of Romanian filmmakers, and this is something that never happened before, like characters would never dare to swear, for example, to say vulgar words. They were talking like in, like in books, like in classical novels, very polite, blah, blah. So this is something that is also very important, I think, for them. But nowadays, like because this realist movement was very successful since, I think, especially since 2007 when Romanian film won the Palme d'Or for 1 month, 3 weeks and 2 days. But even before, it was another film by Cristi Puiu, Death of Mr. Lazarescu from 2005. So a lot of filmmakers, new filmmakers and filmmakers that already made some films before, made films in this aesthetic, and after 2010 I think they started to try to go in other directions, starting from realism but going in very different aesthetics. And I think now it's 2014, exactly this moment, I think it's a very interesting period because even filmmakers who won a lot of success, gained a lot of success by making realist films, and young filmmakers, they all try to find other patterns and other ways of talking about life and about death and about society and about people, about human being. So it's a very interesting period, and I think the selection here, since it has mostly films from these past 2 years, reflects that, reflects this, let's say, regeneration in a way, and this heterogeneity of the contemporary Romanian cinema.
Andrei, I would like to ask, do you think that it's easy for us to understand the Romanian cinema semiotics, the language, what are the main skills to decoding this type of contemporary Romanian cinema? It's easy to understand.
You mean like for us, when you say for us, you mean for the Portuguese people, or for us like...
For us, Portuguese.
Portuguese,
yes.
Okay. Well, I don't know that many things about the contemporary society in Portugal. Because even though I watch films from Portugal, yes, the majority are not, let's say, realists. There are ones that I really think are very good. I wouldn't say they are realists, so it doesn't give me such a big view.
References.
Yes,
cognitive reference to.
Yes, but on the other hand, I think that since we are talking about realist approaches, I think on the first level it's one of the most one of the easiest aesthetics, let's say, of types of languages, of cinematographic languages to appropriate and to decode, yes, because it talks about concrete things, so it doesn't hide very much. It just like the ideal in realism now is to give the audience the impression that they are there without nobody interfering. And this is why I think it's part of the explanation of the success of Romanian contemporary cinema, because I think in a way or another, even though some things are particular, I mean they are specific to Romanian society, I think at a certain point every society can relate to different kinds of aspects from the films. And from what I heard, like from people who have been here, like Portuguese people, they seem to consider that what they see in the Romanian films is pretty similar to the Portuguese society from nowadays. So I guess this should make it even easier to relate to it. Yeah.
Concerning to the documentary, do you think that documentary will be the future of Romanian cinema, or we can't make this analysis?
What do you mean? Like the future? Like that there won't be any fiction films made?
Yes, yes.
Only documentaries?
Dealing with the realistic ways of depicting social reality. What are your point of view dealing with the future of documentary?
In Romania?
Yes.
Well,
how do you perceive this pathway?
Well, I think
it's difficult to answer right now.
No, I'm not sure I understood very well the question, but let's try.
Okay.
So I think that the gap between fiction and documentary, when we are talking about realism, it's not that big. So of course there are some differences. Like in fiction, you have actors mainly, you have a script, but sometimes also the documentary functions like this. Not necessarily you have actors, but maybe you rehearse, blah blah. So I think that in the documentary, the documentary films that are being done right now, I don't think they are as interesting, like in general, as the fictions, but they are, I think, much diverse in perspectives and in topics and in aesthetics, let's say. But I don't think that there are as much mature works, documentaries, as there are fictions. But a lot of what I think it's important about documentary is that a lot of young people, because it's not as expensive as to make a fiction, some of them make a documentary with their own money, and with no money, or almost no money at all, just working with friends. So I think a lot of young filmmakers start working in cinema, like in feature films or in short films, from documentaries. And I think this is something important, because in my idea about art, I think that first of all you have to of course, every artist has his thoughts, has his idiosyncrasies, let's say, like his personality in the end, his obsessions, etc. But at the same time, he has to pay attention to real life, to what happens in real life, and I think document to concrete things, yes.
Concrete things.
And because this is because otherwise, I think that I don't think that it works like every time. Because I have some examples of filmmakers that I think are really apart a little bit from what happens in real life, but they are interesting, and one of them I think is Portuguese. His name is Paula Cardoso, and I really like his contemporary work. But in general, especially for young people, I think it's like when they start, I think it's very important to exercise this, let's say, departure from a kind of autism.
Yes.
So I think this is what's happening now with documentary Romania.
Okay, I understood.
Okay.
Andrei, I would like also to question how do you perceive the cinematographic journalism of Romania nowadays? How do you perceive the cinematographic journalism of Romania nowadays?
Well, I think for a long period of time there was no publication on cinema. We managed to do this magazine like 5 years ago in the university. It's written, so what we wanted was to give the young people, because it's written by students, mainly by very young people. We wanted to give opportunities for a new generation of critics to arise and to exercise.
And to improve.
And to improve, of course, by exercising.
Yes.
And I think this is what happened. And it was also like, because I think for 10 years there was no publication on cinema, although there are critics, older critics, and then they didn't do together a magazine. Now there is another one made by older critics, but in general I think that there exists like probably in other countries, like a very big break between the older generation and the young generation. I think it's taken even to the point of a revolt, like young critics. I think not only in criticism, also in filmmaking and in other fields, in other parts of society, of the society of Romania. There is this big gap between the people who were formed in the communist period and the new generation, and I think it also happens in criticism. But I think in terms of young criticism, I think there are very big hopes in Romania right now of people who, in time, they are already good, but they will even improve even more.
Andrei, it is difficult to research and write in this cinematographic area. How do you think this kind of work, of researching, of writing, dealing with this area?
I think I don't think it's.
It's a
I don't know
question
how
of
it,
passion? It's a question of passion?
I think yes, of course, because you don't earn money, usually nothing from writing. If you earn money from something, it's from teaching or from other things. Probably
Not
like
from
in other parts.
this area.
Not from writing.
Yeah.
Not from writing. Usually you don't earn money from
It's a
writing.
passion.
So it has to be a passion also. And beside that, I think it works like in other fields. I mean, you have to, of course, the
Yes.
documenting process involves, of course, watching films, reading other essays or books or other references, and then write. It depends for what kind of magazine you write. Or if you have to write an academic essay, then you have to respect certain rules. If you write for a magazine that is for a wide audience, you will respect certain rules. And I think I don't think that a good critic has necessarily to adapt to every type of media. But I think that if you can adapt, why not do it? I mean, sometimes it's important, even if you have to write something very short and something that it's not as your best. Like it's not very profound. Sometimes it might be important to defend certain ideas or certain films and these ideas of yours to get to more people than it would if you would write for an academic paper.
Okay. Andrei, thank you very much
Thank you
for
also.
being here. We really appreciate this moment, your effort to explaining all of kind of things about the meanings, the concepts, the keywords, and all of this Romanian contemporary cinema as far as we know them. Thank you very much.